Alrighty, so I'm going to be comparing Gran Turismo Sport, Project Cars 3, ASSETTO CORSA COMPETIZIONE, and ASSETTO CORSA on the PS5. I do believe only Gran Turismo Sport has 4K resolution. We're going to start with that one, so let's hit play here and let's see what we got from what I captured. So I'm going to do a sound test first. At some point. There we go. Very generic. Sounds like a lot of the cars on Gran Turismo. Doesn't really sound like the real car. But yeah, graphically, if we look at it, it looks amazing. On Gran Turismo looks the best out of all of them. I give it like a solid 10 because it does have the 4K resolution output, as well as you know, it was made for this console, unlike the others which are on multi-platform. The handling on Gran Turismo, the force feedback isn't the best, but it's not the worst either. While the handling is okay, see, I lost a little bit and I was still able to grasp onto it. Switching the cameras, the details really good. Like the cockpit view is just amazing. Looks pretty sharp, pretty nice. The braking points, it brakes pretty well on this game. The graphics, though, look at these graphics. It looks amazing. I'm not sure if it will save with the exact quality that I am watching it with, because I record in 4K. Fortunately, the software I'm using to make the video does not open these videos, so it only allows me to do 1080p, not 4K. So I have to go on OBS and do it this way. So I'm capturing it and talking, you know. Looks pretty good. Gran Turismo, I would give it, you know, a good score, and we'll get to that in the end. But as of now, like, I like it. I always like Gran Turismo Sport. It is a simulator. It's just not a hardcore simulator. When we get to ACC, then that's a different story. That one, the force feedback, tire model, everything in that game is just so realistic compared to the others. Even though ASSETTO CORSA is also in this video, the original, and that one is pretty good as well. I love that game. It's probably my favorite of all of them, to be honest. But yeah, Gran Turismo Sport, I like it. I think it looks amazing. I think it plays amazing. It's super fun, and it's definitely worth buying. If you have a PS5, yeah, it runs probably exactly the same as on the PS4. But it's worth it. It is worth it. I would get it. I would get it with no problem. That is the first one. We'll step into Project Cars 3. Alright, so Project Cars 3 is the next one. This game was a very big disappointment, not only for almost everyone, but for me too, considering that Project Cars 1 and 2 was going for high simulation, or trying, and this one just like messed it up. So let's hit play on this and take a look. I'm pretty sure the video is not going to look as good as I have it, but it is what it is. At least we can see kind of what it looks like. Sound-wise, a little bit better than Gran Turismo in my opinion. The car sounds a bit better. That is for sure. Graphically, I do like it, but when you're playing on the, like I'm playing on a 43-inch 4K display TV, and I don't know, it just doesn't look as crisp as it should. Like, you know, the image is a little shrunk in here, so it looks even better. But while Gran Turismo on the display looks really good on the full screen, this one has aspects that look a little blurry, so I'm pretty sure this game's not capturing at 4K. Like I said, the sound is better, the car sounds better. The force feedback is very bad on this game. There's almost none, to be honest. This was made for a controller. The tire model is pretty bad compared to all the other games that I'm comparing. Graphically, it's decent. It's not the best, but it's alright. It is fun. It is really fun. I gotta give it that. The game is fun. Simulation-wise, it's not a... like, it's very far from a hardcore sim. Yeah, it is a mild sim. It's still a sim, but not a very good one. It's very simple, and it has too much arcade aspects, mostly, considering that the cars do drift. This car surprisingly handles really well, but you can tell like it brakes really fast. It brakes really well. It turns really well. The handling's really good with it. Like, probably out of all the games that I tested, this one handles the easiest. So it's very easy for anyone that just hops in and tries to play. I did record all my videos with my G29 wheel. I do want to upgrade to a Fanatec at some point, but that's how I recorded it. I played with the G29, and yeah, force feedback, bad. Braking, too good to be true, actually. And yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say. This one was a disappointment to me. I do like the car lineup. It has a lot of good cars. So that's a good thing, but definitely for me the weakest out of all of them. And let's hop to the next one. Let's go to the heavy hitter. ASSETTO CORSA COMPETIZIONE is the next game that we'll be showing. Alrighty, ACC is the next one, and this one, oh boy, this one's good. This one's really good. So let's start it up. Sound, right there. It just sounds amazing. Like, that's a 10, a solid 10 out there with the sound. The sound is so good on this game. And the graphics too. The graphics look good, even though I'm pretty sure they're not in 4K. Actually, I'm almost 100% sure they're not at 4K on the PS5. This is a PS4 game, but I'm pretty sure it's not at 4K because it is kind of blurry towards the draw distance and stuff. The sound is just amazing. Force feedback, amazing. Top notch, probably the best that you can get on the PS5. Graphically, like I said, amazing. The handling is really good. This game, I think, is the only game where I did have some traction control on, even though I did lower it a bit. I think I lowered it down to 3. But this game, you do need to have good hands, and I'm not amazing at it, not even close. But as you can see, the detail's amazing. The sound is just so good, so crisp. I love it. This game is one of my favorites. The only problem with it is it just has GT3 cars and GT4 cars if you buy the pack, which I didn't buy the pack yet. I don't even know if I will. I don't play the game a whole lot, even though it's amazing. I play the original ASSETTO CORSA a lot more. But yeah, you have GT3 cars, GT4 cars. Total, you probably get 20 cars, I'm thinking, on this game. So not a big lineup. The good thing is every car in this game feels unique, just feels amazing. When they did the cars, they did them all right. They didn't just put half the work on one and then left the other one to be shit. They're all good. They're all good. They all have amazing force feedback. They all, they play amazing. The handling's impressive. The force feedback is what's going, it's the best thing out of the game. And then probably the handling. The tire model is insane. You actually have to warm up the tires properly on this game. It is addicting, but it's really hard. Really hard. And that's what I have to say about this one. This one, for me, is going to be the winner for sure out of all the sim racing games. This one's a true sim to me, a true hardcore sim, in my opinion. Some people may think not, maybe the computer guys, but this is a hardcore sim for me. Or at least a very good sim. I like it, and we'll go off to the last one, which is ASSETTO CORSA, the original one. Oh man, I just love the sound. Wow. So good. Next one. Alrighty, so this will be the last one. It is ASSETTO CORSA. It's the oldest of all the games that I showed here and compared. It is from 2014 on the PS4, I believe, or 2014 was when it released originally on computer. I think actually came to the PS4 later on. If I'm not wrong, I might be wrong. I don't know. I didn't look that up. But I love this game. It is one of my favorite games. It is such a good sim in my opinion. It has a good lineup of cars, a lot of street cars, real cars, and they all have real cars, but a lot of cars that you could drive in real life without having to become a pro racer, which most of us won't. But let's kick her in and let's see what this looks like. So graphically, for the year it was released, looks really good still. It doesn't have the reflections. The reflections aren't as good as the newer games. Sound is really good still. The handling is amazing as well. We'll get there. I love the sound. It does sound really good. ASSETTO CORSA nails the sound so well. I don't like playing in this camera. I like playing in cockpit view, but just to show the graphics. Graphically, it's looking good. You can tell the trees could be better, but it's an older game. The sound, 100%. The steering, really good. Tire models, decent. Even though it's not as good as ACC. The sound, just look at the sound. The quality. The quality is amazing. The cockpit view, very detailed, very good. It is easier to drive on this game. I did have traction control completely off on this car. You can tell by under the... actually, you can't see it on the video. I can see it on this VLC video. It would show TC if I had it on. I don't have it off. The only game I used TC was on ACC. Every other game I turned it off. I didn't need it. ACC is the most realistic one though. Yeah, this game is really good. It's worth getting. It's cheap now, and it on the PS5 it runs really smooth. I believe all these games that I tested run at 60 FPS. 100% sure on that. They all run really, really smooth on the PS5. Graphically, GTSPORT looks way better than all the other three. I'd say the second one would probably be ACC for the looks. I would say this one could come in third place and Project Cars 3 and fourth. I'm not sure. Those two, I don't know, they come close. This one for some reason just feels more realistic. Project Cars 3 has too much stuff going on in the game. I don't know why. They put too many colors, too much crap. This one just looks simple and realistic. I like all these games. I do like all of them, but AC is probably my favorite of all of them. Even more so than Gran Turismo Sport or ACC. Like, just the sound is amazing. Even though I'll give it, ACC has better sound, but it is newer. That is what I got here, and then we'll go to the final scores of these games. Alright, I'm back again, and we're going to discuss the scores as we can see on the screen. We'll start with Gran Turismo. I'm going to go by the order that I did record and, make the video. So, Gran Turismo, graphically, I give it a 10. This is obviously from 1 to 10. Unfortunately, this video, the quality is far from what it should look like. This is more to just see how the game looks, sounds, and all that. Unfortunately, the game does not look this way. It looks way better than what is showing on the video. The thing is, my capture card caps out at 1080p, so I didn't capture directly from the PS5. I actually recorded the footage on the PS5 in 4K, so the footage looked really good on the video. The problem was the software that I'm using, I'm just using the regular Windows video editor, and it does not support 4K, unfortunately, or at least the extension that I'm trying to use. So I had to go on OBS and do all this crap, but you guys get it. So graphically, 10. Tire model, give it a 7. Could be better, could be worse. Tires do wear out a bit, and so it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Sound, I give it a 6 because Gran Turismo kind of copies and pastes a lot of the sound on each car. A lot of cars sound exactly the same. If I grab another 10 cars, they're going to sound exactly like that R8, and that's unfortunate. They should put some time to capture that sound properly, like AC does. Even Project Cars did better on that one. Detail, I give it a 10. Gran Turismo has a lot of nice detail in terms of everything. Interior, the grass, the trees, everything just looks amazing. Force feedback, I give it a 7. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's decent. It's pretty good. 4K, yes, it is in 4K. I'm not sure if any of the other games are in 4K on the PS5 at all. I'm pretty sure they're not. I'm thinking they're at 1080p. Gran Turismo does have 4K HDR. Handling, I give it an 8. You can handle the cars really well, and they do feel, somewhat realistic. Pretty far from, I wouldn't say pretty far, but far from what ASSETTO CORSA does. Those nail the handling a bit better. Gran Turismo, though, is not that bad. So, at the end of the day, I gave it an 8 total. That's what, you add up all those numbers, divided by 6, that's what you get, an 8. So, not bad is the score I'm giving it. We'll hop on to Project Cars 3 now, which has graphics 7. I do feel like Project Cars 2 had a solid 8 or 9 in graphics. Project Cars 3 just looks worse to me. even running at the best possible settings I can. I had quality over performance on the PS5, and it still doesn't look better. Like, I don't know. It's a downgrade. The tire model is really bad. It's a 3 to me. It's a 3. It's bad. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. It's bad. The sound, it's an 8. I think it's a jump from Gran Turismo, and it's a jump from Project Cars 2 as well. It's a solid 8 for me. Detail, I give it an 8. It has a lot of detail, so it isn't bad. I just wish the resolution was better. On PC, for sure, it's a lot better, but PC, it also costs a lot more. I was going to build one for sim racing, but that is postponed because I have a kid on the way and a bunch of stuff that I need to do around the house. Force feedback, it's a 5. I was indecisive between a 4 and a 5. It could have been a 4. I gave it a 5 because it's okay. It's not great. Like, compared to Project Cars 2, a 5 is what it gets. It's like mid-range. It's not good. It's not horrible, but it could be better. They made this game obviously for a controller. 4K, no. There's no 4K, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's 4K, at least. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I don't see 4K on that image, and I might be wrong, but I did not see 4K. I might have to go do some research on that. Overall, it's a 6. So it's just borderline mid-range, and I give it a score of could be better. It could be a better game. It could be a better sim. It's not even a good sim anymore. It's more of a simcade. It is a simcade. It could be better. It could pick up on what Project Cars 2 did. Unfortunately, it didn't, and just went complete opposite way. I hope they fix this on the next Project Cars, because I do like this franchise, and they messed it up. I like the lineup of cars. It's just when you take the cars on the track and the force feedback is garbage and the tire models, it messes up the whole game. With that said, we'll go to ASSETTO CORSA COMPETIZIONE, which is by far the real sim on this video. Even though AC, the ASSETTO CORSA original, is a pretty good sim too. But let's talk about this one. Graphics, I was between an 8 and a 9. I ended up giving it an 8 just because it's not pushing 4K, or at least it doesn't look like it's pushing 4K on the PS5. And there are no options to choose anything, to choose what the resolution you want. So that is what I'm getting. As for the tire model, it's a 10. Tire model on ACC is just amazing, top notch. You gotta warm tires. If they're not warm, chances are you're gonna spin or slide depending on traction control and all that. You gotta be really good, which I'm not, but you gotta actually put some time into this game, learn the cars. They all handle differently. They all handle really well. They're unique. So the tire model is really good. The sound is another 10. Like, man, hearing the cars on this game, we tested the R8 LMS on each game. They're all different years, I believe, but the car is the same one, and the sound by far on ACC is the best. Like, it sounds amazing. Like, it sounds really, really good. It's a pleasure to hear it. The detail, I give it a 9. It could have a little more detail to the game. Like, just feels very simple, but it has all the, like, most of the details there. Graphically, interior of the car, exterior. There's a lot of detail, but I wish there was a little bit more on, like, the environment outside. It could go to a 10, but as of now, I gave it a 9. That's how I feel about it. If it released on the PS5 with an upgrade with, like, the 4K and all that stuff, I would probably bump it up to a 10. Force feedback, it's a 10. Like, hands down, it's the best out of these games, like, by far. I don't even want to talk about it. It is so good, and I have a G29, not a Fanatec or a SimCube or whatever they call them. I don't have any of those. I do want to upgrade at some point, but with the G29, it still feels amazing. And it's for me, it's a 10. Like, you feel everything. It's so good. 4K, I'm pretty sure it's a no. Like I said, I didn't do research, but Gran Turismo lets you choose the resolution, while none of these do let you choose the resolution. And also, it doesn't look like 4K, any of those other games. Gran Turismo looks 4K on that screen. And I have a 4K Samsung HDR 120 Hz, so it looks really good. Gran Turismo, the others, could do better. Handling, it's a 9. I do feel like sometimes it could be the wheel, or it could be myself not controlling my throttle as good as I should, but a lot of times I do feel, and not on the video, but a lot of times when I'm playing ACC, I do feel like at certain speeds I'm spinning out too easily, even with traction control. And it's like, well, why would I spin out at like 80 on this simple curve? It just doesn't feel right. So from there, I bumped that down from a 10 to a 9. The handling could be a little bit better. I've never driven a car like that in my life, so who knows? I may be completely wrong. I just think it would be really hard for a race car to spin out at like 60 or 80 on a wide curve, not even a tight one. So that's what I'll give it. And the total for this game is a 9. It was a bit over a 9. So, you know, on its way to a 10. It is amazing, is the final score for that game. For me, it's an amazing sim. It's an actual sim, and it's really good. It's definitely worth getting, especially for who has a wheel. If you don't have a wheel, I wouldn't even bother. These games, Project Cars may be the only one that you could use the controller, and it is more made for a controller. The Gran Turismo, you can play with a controller, but if you want to enjoy these games, it has to be with the wheel. Even Project Cars 3, I prefer it with the wheel. I don't want to play any racing game with a controller anymore. Since once you get a wheel, you don't want to even touch that controller when you're playing a racing game. Except if you're playing Need for Speed, which I don't even have pleasure playing those games anymore. The Crew was fun. The Crew was fun, but it's also a controller game. But it was fun. Let's hop to the next and final game, which was ASSETTO Corsa. It is my favorite. Like, I'm not even kidding. It is my favorite, and it's the oldest one of all these. And this is on the PS4, actually the 5, not the 4. On the PS4, I played it a lot on the PS4. On the 5, it's still the same. It's really good. On PC, it's even better because you can download cars, and, you know, a lot of guys have... there's a lot of mods for this game on PC, and I might even download it on my gaming laptop because it will run good. It will run good on my gaming laptop. But as of now, I play it on the PS5. That's where I play it. And that one, let's go with the graphics. It's a 7. It would be probably an 8 or a 9 if it was newer, but you can tell the image is a little washed off by now. The reflections aren't as good as the other games, even though it still compares really good to Project Cars 3, which has better shadows, but then lacks in other details. That's why I gave it the same score. Tire model, it's a 9 for me. It's not as good as ACC, but it's still decent. When you're driving around, like, you can feel it's grippy, it's good, it's amazing. I love it. The sound is a 9. It's not as good as ACC, but it's close. The car sounds amazing. Regardless of how old the game is, it does sound really good. The detail, I give it an 8. It could be better, but it's an older game, so who knows if they make an AC2. I think that game can easily get a 10. Like, it could be better than any other sim racing game out there. Force feedback, it's a 9. I love the force feedback. It feels really good. It's strong. It's not as good as ASSETTO Corsa Competizione, like I said, but it is an older game by 5 years, I believe. 4 or 5 years. So, you know, that's probably where that point goes away, but it's still amazing, the force feedback. 4K, it isn't. Not at all. Not on the PS5. Handling, it's a 9. The cars handle really well. The cars feel... I don't know. For me, this game is my favorite because the cars just feel amazing when you're driving. You can feel the street. You could feel, you know, everything. It feels like you're actually in a car. The force feedback, the handling, everything's so good. And ASSETTO Corsa, that's where they're better than all the others that I'm comparing. Overall, it's an 8.5. It's coming close to ACC. It's not quite there, but it is an amazing, I consider it an amazing game. Anything above 8 for me is amazing. Gran Turismo, I gave it a not bad, even though it's at 8. I think it was actually under 8, but not by much. I might be wrong. Let me calculate this again. I might be wrong. No, it's a bang on 8. I'm not going to give it an amazing. I think it's not bad. It's good. It's good. I said not bad, but it's good. It's definitely good. I wouldn't say amazing in terms of a sim. In terms of a car game, it is amazing. Got to give it that. Next time I do this, I should change that. I'll just put good. And could do better. Could be better is actually pretty good for Project Cars 3. ACC is amazing. AC is amazing. I don't know if other people feel that way about it. I feel that way, and that's my opinion. Everyone is free of having their opinions. I think it's good to have opinions, and not everyone likes the same stuff. Not everyone enjoys the same stuff. Not everyone's going to like the same game. Some guys love Project Cars 3. Other guys hate Project Cars 3. I am kind of like, I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. I like it. That's how I feel about it. Gran Turismo, I love it, but I am aware that it's not a full sim, not even close. ACC, I love it, and I know what it is. It's good. And AC, in my opinion, the best one. Even though the score isn't as good as ACC, to me, it's the most fun of them. Like, just the car lineup. It's so fun. You can take a Panamera. You have a Porsche Macan. You have the Fiat 500. You have all these other cars that you can take on the street, and they're like real world cars, like real cars that you could probably buy if you had the money. Gran Turismo has a really good lineup too. Project Cars probably has the best lineup of all these games. It's just, that's all it is. It's quantity over quality. Gran Turismo kind of the same. ASSETTO CORSA COMPETIZIONE is quality, like a lot of quality over quantity. And then the perfect balance to me is AC. That's how I feel. You guys can let me know how you feel about these games. And, I encourage people to do videos like this. It's fun to do comparisons. It's fun to make, let people know how things run on the new console. I'm loving the new console. It does crash a lot, actually, on at least Cyberpunk crashes a lot on it. I don't know if that's how it is on the PS4. These racing games are not crashing. Project Cars 3 did crash quite a bit. ACC and AC... ACC didn't crash. AC did crash a couple of times, I believe. Gran Turismo, I just installed it because I had the disc actually in my PS4 still. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sub, like, comment. I will eventually get back to you. And, this was a new thing for me to test. I do need to buy a 4K capture card if I want to do these videos. I want to be fair to whoever's watching. And if I do get the 4K capture card, these videos will look a lot better, and you can actually see or get close to what I'm seeing on the screen. And I would say any of these games is worth buying, especially Project Cars, not Project Cars, but AC is cheap now. ACC, I'm not quite sure of the price, but it's a lot cheaper than what I paid for it. Gran Turismo is super cheap. Project Cars is still expensive because it's fairly new, but that would be my last option if I were to buy these games. As I said, that is it. I hope you all have an amazing new year. Hopefully COVID finally goes away at some point. And this might be my last video of the year, as tomorrow's the last day of the year, and I'm just going to spend the last hours with my lady and my dog. And that is all. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.